Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans on this Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. Well, today is a pretty good day and also a somber day. It was 4 years ago today, May 12th, 2016, that my father passed away of heart failure in Chicago. So today I'm remembering my father and giving thanks to God for being alive because amidst all that's going on, amid everything that's going on, I'm here and healthy that I know of. So amen to that. Hope you all are well and staying safe out there on this Tuesday. I want to bring you said information pertaining to Evelyn Boswell. I will be bringing you a two-part article, and I will give a source for each said information. The first source is miaww.com, and it was updated today. I don't know what this time is. It can't be the same time because it's just afternoon here, 4:50, but its time says 5:56 on here, so I think it's incorrect information. But anyway, it was updated allegedly 5:12 by Mia WW. I've never heard of this source before. Here we go. More than 2 months after authorities found the dead body of toddler Evelyn Mae Boswell, some progress has been made in the case, and a person of interest has been identified. Mia Worldwide previously reported that an Amber Alert had been issued after the 15-month-old girl had been reported missing on February 18th by her maternal grandfather, Tommy Sr., and that from the very beginning, there were several irregularities in her disappearance. For one, she had not been seen since December 26th. When questioned, her 18-year-old mother, Megan Boswell, reportedly gave many conflicting statements, including falsely claiming that her mother, Angela, had taken the toddler and that she was pregnant with her second child. She first told police that her daughter was with her father, Ethan Perry, and even detailed a plan to pick her up from him at the parking lot of a grocery store. When asked about the same Ethan, who was on active duty and stationed in Louisiana at the time, said he did not have the young girl. Megan then pointed the finger at her mother and urged the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to search a campground in Mendota, Virginia, where she alleged Angela was keeping the 15-month-old tot in a silver camper. However, an extensive search of the property turned up nothing. Authorities still issued a BOLO regarding a gray 2007 BMW, which was found to be driven by Angela and her boyfriend, William McLeod. She was subsequently charged with the possession of stolen property and probation violation charges. Every time we talk to her, her story changes, Sullivan County Sheriff Jeff Cassidy said of Megan. I'm serious when I say that, every single time. Megan was arrested on February 25th and charged with providing false reports with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office, claiming that her false tips cost them thousands of dollars and made them lose valuable time in the search for Evelyn. At the same time, authorities were receiving hundreds of tips from around the country, and on March 6th were led to a property shared by her father, mother, and brother, where they found the toddler's dead body in a shed. The 15-month-old was wearing the exact clothing when she went missing. Other clothing, diapers, and toys that would have belonged to the child were also found on the property. While breakthroughs have remained scarce. Earlier this week, police announced they had identified a person of interest in the case, though they have not released their identity. The mother, who saw her bail increase from $25,000 to $150,000 after the discovery of her daughter's remains, has not been charged with the murder and may yet walk free. During a virtual hearing conducted over a video conference this week, where she was scheduled to be arraigned, prosecutor Teresa Nelson asked for the arraignment to be pushed back to a later date since her team is still reviewing more than 25 hours of interview authorities conducted with the 18-year-old. The delay meant her case cannot be submitted to a grand jury, with the judge ultimately agreeing to reschedule the arraignment for June 19th. The judge also set a bail reduction hearing for May 28th. Investigators are still waiting on autopsy results, forensic evidence, lab results, and Sullivan County Sheriff's Office Captain Joey Strickler, said this could take over a month. He said a lot of work needs to be done before they'll be ready to make any indictment in the case, and that is impossible to say right now when that could happen. Strickler revealed that investigators have not interviewed any members of Megan's family since Evelyn's body was found, and they still do not know how she died, but that they are still following up on any lead they receive. That seems odd to me. Okay. What we have seen and what we've been through and the fight that we've had, which has been overwhelming, frustrating, he said. There's so many things that went on in this case that the general public doesn't see. We all want justice for Evelyn. We all want that. And that is the sad information by Mia WW. Okay. That was uploaded 6 hours ago, that Mia WW article. The next article is by The Sun, and it was updated 19 hours ago. This is by The Sun. Murder mystery. Mother of Evelyn Mae Boswell may walk free after judge agrees to bail reduction hearing as baby's death remains unsolved. The mother of Evelyn Mae Boswell may be released from jail by the end of the month after the judge in her case agreed to a bail reduction hearing. Maggie Boswell could now be free to return home as early as May 28, just as the police announced that they have identified a person of interest in her daughter's death. Maggie was scheduled to be virtually arraigned on Friday, but during the hearing, the judge agreed to push that back a month on account of the hundreds of hours of interviews that both prosecutors and the defense are going through. Her bail was initially set at $25,000, but increased to $150,000 after human remains that were later determined to be those of baby Evelyn were discovered by investigators. She is charged with making false statement to members of the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office who claimed her tips in the case cost them thousands of dollars, valuable time in the search for the missing toddler. And basically, this article is just going over the same things that was told in the previous article of the Mia WW, and just recapping everything from said information. I'm going to go over something else. Now, naturally, as we stated, I stated the child. It has not been determined how Evelyn died. The autopsy results, sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. The autopsy results are expected soon. The judge already agreed to seal those results, which should reveal when and how the baby died. Maggie's attorney said on Friday that had the arraignment gone on as scheduled, his client would have entered a plea of not guilty. She will now be back in court on May 28th for her bail reduction hearing and June 19th for her arraignment. And that is said information by The Sun. So basically, what I want to recap from both articles, The Sun and Mia WW, I find it odd in the first article by Mia is that the Sheriff's Department, TBI, whomever, have not interviewed the family members pertaining to discovering the child's body. Why? Why haven't you talked to any of them? Don't you find that odd? Or have they yet, any of those said members, decided to freely give information to the police pertaining to the remains of the child? The fact that Megan may get this bond reduction at the end of this month on the 28th is baffling to me. Is it because the information hadn't made it to the grand jury, so the judge feels like, well, we'll reduce her bond? Why would you want to reduce her bond? She doesn't have anywhere to go. She's homeless. She's pointed the finger at the child's father, allegedly the father. Then she pointed the finger at her mother as having the child, and that was a no-go. Then a lot of junk jumped off between she and Mr. McLeod and the stolen car and other charges and theft thereafter once they were released from jail. So you see, her mother's mind was on a whole lot of other things, and I think we know what her mind was on. She and Mr. McLeod's mind. Stealing out of the stores, Walmart, breaking and entering in somebody's house. See where I'm going? They wasn't thinking about a baby. They have not been thinking about that baby, and they haven't been thinking about Angela. They've been thinking about themselves. I don't know what the hell's going on with this case. The only thing I can think of is that they want to make sure they get it right. They want to make sure they have all evidence. They're going over all interviews, all said information, all statements, because you need to be accurate when you're trying to bring a charge against a said person for murder. That's just common sense. So I don't want them going in haphazardly. Thank you. They're doing their job. Because see, any little thing they take before the grand jury that's not up to par in sealing it to get that girl indicted, they could say, sorry, you don't have enough information. Then, sure enough, bond reduced. Here comes a clown running to the bailsman, bond bailsman, giving them said money to get that girl out. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about who would bond her out. Where would she go if she got bonded out? Come on with it. Where would Megan Boswell sleep after being bonded out? Does she have a good rapport with her mother and father and brother at this current time while incarcerated in Sullivan County Jail? Once again, why haven't the Sheriff's Department talked to any of the family members since discovering the body of Evelyn? I find that very odd. You're not going to talk to the people whose property you found the child's body on? Found her in a shed? And let's also talk about those said items, toys, diapers. They said they found those said items on the property. Exactly where did you find those items? Were they found inside of the home of the father? Or were they also in that shed alongside a dead baby? Too much to think about. Manner of death has not been released to the public. I'm sure many of you, as myself, are curious to how Evelyn May passed away. Was it accidental or was it cold-hearted, cold-blooded, intentional, deliberate murder? Who is the person of interest in the killing of Evelyn May Boswell? Is it indeed her mother? Most of us are probably thinking that it is, since she is the last one to have access to the child, was the sole custodian of the child, the one that gave conflicting evidence, information pertaining to the child. But why would I think she is the killer of the child? Because you see, if you were telling the truth, you had no reason to point the finger at all these different people to having access to the child. And then when the police go search, neither party had the child. Each party had a different version of when they last saw the child. So who had the child? I think we all know Megan Boswell had Evelyn May. And she murdered that baby on that father's property, and or she murdered the child somewhere in Sullivan County or somewhere. And perhaps maybe she just took the baby to that property and put the baby in the shed. Because you see, she's diabolical. If she can say that that child was in the custody of the father, she can also say her mother had the baby at a campground and those things were not true. She can also be cold enough to lie on her father and plant that baby in that shed and say, hey, oh well, he had the baby. Oh, I left the child here with a brother, sister, cousin. You see where I'm going. All bets are off with her. Liar. And that is who Megan Boswell is. She's a pathological liar. To me, she's a sociopath because she's walking around pretending to be a human being, and she is not. She is a liar. And see, people like to weigh how far would a liar go? How far would a thief go? Now, one can argue a thief wouldn't murder. A thief wouldn't lie. And then you could argue a liar won't steal. A liar won't kill. That depends on the person and what they stand to lose. Because you see, a liar can steal and kill just as a thief can lie and kill. It depends on the stakes, how high the stakes are, and what he or she refuses to lose. And also what they stand to gain. I believe Megan Boswell is behind this death of this child. I do not know if others are involved, but it's all sketchy to me due to the fact that the Sheriff's Department relayed to the public that those same said people who have been talked to, interviewed, also gave conflicting stories. So one would have to ask themselves, why would these said people, relatives, also give conflicting stories pertaining to the whereabouts of this child? You can't go holler to the state, hey, investigate my daughter. My grandbaby's missing. I haven't seen the grandchild. But yet, they interview you, talk to you, and you give conflicting stories. Why is that when you're the first one that holler the loudest and the first one to holler? Period. Very sketchy people. Very sketchy people. And when you see the dynamics of a young woman with a child, a missing child, relatives going hollering to the state and the police about a missing child, then later you find out those same said people were what we call lying, lying to the authorities. You also wonder what is their part in the disappearance and the death of the baby, Miss Evelyn. That should be as baffling as Megan being involved. Come on with it. Because why are these people not talking to the police? And why did these people give conflicting information, but you were so allegedly concerned about the child? And once again, I've said this 1,000 times. Where did Megan Boswell live when she had custody of Evelyn Mae Boswell? And with all these relatives, a father, brother, why is it she didn't have adequate help to better her circumstances? Allegedly, she was enrolled in college, but you see, that's a no-go now. Why wasn't she working? Why did she have adequate transportation? Why couldn't she keep her car note paid? Why did she relinquish the car? See, those are the things people should be asking, because you see, that's what determines how she got in this mess in the first place of this missing baby, now dead baby. I think her situation was dire, her living situation, and I think that's what spawned this death out of control, how the baby got dead in the first place. Maybe her living situation wasn't great. Maybe her job wasn't efficient. So things started tumbling downward. And we already know that once you don't have a job, you can't pay your car note, you can't take care of yourself, and you can't take care of a baby. Now you're living with people who don't want you there. That ain't working out. Now you have no job, no money, can't pay for a car, can't keep the car, and nowhere to stay. And you have a child to raise. So you see, your mind will start turning cartwheels when the house of cards begin to fall down, or they fell down. And I think that is what got this baby dead. Her world spun out of control, either by her own doing or outside circumstances. Or perhaps she just didn't give a damn and wanted out of the life that she had. And that meant getting rid of her baby. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop your comments below. Thanks for joining me on this wonderful day, Tuesday in the Hot 10. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Mask up, glove up. Put those said items in the appropriate receptacles. Thank you all so much. Oh, and to my new friend, Mr. James. Hello, how are you? Hope you're well and safe in your travels on those lonely highways. God bless all of you, and thank you so much. God rest my daddy. Maybe I'll see you soon. One day. Hopefully not too soon, because I still feel like I got some living to do. Amen, amen. You all stay safe out there. God bless all of you. And this is Everyday Shenanigans. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.